voters, remember to collect your renewed voter ID card before the upcoming general election. If you registered to vote in 2016 or after and did not get your new ID card, it may have been automatically renewed. Simply visit your EOJ constituency office to collect your voter ID card. Contact the Electoral Office of Jamaica at 888-991-VOTE or 922-0425-9 for more information.
A production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
Nationwide 90 FM, continuing the tradition of fair, fearless, and factual reporting.
Attention all data protection enthusiasts. Tune in to Nationwide 90 FM every Tuesday at 8:20 a.m. and Thursday at 8:25 a.m. for a new program, Data Protection Matters. Starting June 4, 2024, join us as we delve into crucial topics that will keep you informed and compliant. Data Protection Matters is hosted by Chuck Cameron, founder of Design Privacy, your trusted partner in data protection. Don't miss out. That's every Tuesday morning at 8:20 and every Thursday at 8:25 a.m. Stay protected, stay informed with Nationwide 90 FM and Design Privacy.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is...
It's 6 minutes after 9.
You're inside the Consumer Hour with Nora Gay Banton.
Good morning to you. It is Monday, July 7, 2025. We are alive and well, and for that we give God thanks. Good morning to you. If you're listening on the 90 FM band, 90.3, 90.5, 90.7, and 90.9, thank you so much for joining us on your radio. We appreciate your company there. If you are listening and watching on our YouTube channel, good morning to you. The channel is Nationwide 90 FM Live 2. That's Nationwide 90 FM LIVE with a number 2 beside that. I want to say good morning to Herman, who's first in the chat this morning. David Nebar, good morning to you as well. Rick NYCJM, top of the morning to you. Juliet Sanchez, good morning. Chris Daly, good morning to you as well. Let me see who else is over there on YouTube. Ines Campbell Murray, good morning to you. Hugh Donaldson, top of the morning to you. Nadine Bell, good morning. Errol Townsend, Cynthia Matheson, good morning. Rohan Stadhart, good morning to you as well. All the others over there on YouTube, big up on yourself. Let me see who's the top fan this morning. The top fan this morning is Marvelous Marvin. Following behind her is Marigold and then Ines Campbell Murray. Those are the top 3 fans right now in the YouTube chat. Yeah, the YouTube has this new feature going on. Don't know how long it will last, but yeah, it's a nice little touch. Good morning to you if you're listening from a mobile app, which is available for free on the Google Play and the Apple App Store, and those on our website. The Listen Now option in there. Top of the morning to you as well. This Monday morning, I'm in studio. Guys, I don't have an outside broadcast today. Thank God. And in studio with me is Nadine. Hey, Nadine.
Hey, Dora. Good morning.
How are you?
I am awesome.
Nice.
I'm awesome. It's great to see you
nice
again.
To see you too.
In person.
Yes.
Live and living colors.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
And, well, let me tell you guys, it's Immigration Mondays. And, yes, let me do that. It's Immigration Mondays. And inside Immigration Mondays this morning, we are joined in studio by Nadine Mahabir, and Opal Lee, or U.S. immigration attorney, is online. Good morning, Opal.
Good morning, Nora. Good morning, Nadine. Good morning to wonderful and loyal listeners and viewers. Happy Monday.
Happy Mother's Day to you, too. You know, you seem so far away, way away.
Hi, Opal. Good morning. And yes, of course, good morning to our listeners. Thank you for joining us.
All right. So inside Immigration Mondays, as usual, we get an update at the beginning of the program on all things immigration related on Canada's end and in the United States. And then after that, we open the phone lines for you. If you have any questions, you can give us a call. We will give those numbers later on, but let's jump right into the updates. Going to start with you, Nadine, and then Opal.
Thanks, Nora. Nora, what I'd actually like to mention today is the child sponsorship category. So under Canadian immigration rules, a dependent child is defined as someone who is 22 years of age or under, unless the child has a mental or physical condition wherein they are dependent on the parent, then of course they'd still be classified as a dependent child. Right now, the parent in Canada does not need to show a minimum income in order to sponsor a child or actually a partner.
Okay.
So that is a great thing right now.
Indeed.
So if you have a dependent child that is 22 years of age or under, I would strongly recommend that you go about sponsoring that child before, of course, there's any other changes. For those of you that have been following the program or Canadian immigration rules, you know that they have been constantly making changes to the various immigration programs. So if you have a child, again, please ensure that you go about sponsoring that child. And ensure that, yes, your name is, if you're a father, make sure your name is on the birth certificate, because that's one of the first things immigration is looking at. If not, get your name added, and you may be asked to do a DNA test later on.
Okay. And is a last minute addition of the father's name any kind of red flag?
Yes. Normally that's when the immigration may ask you to do it and the child to do a DNA test. But, again, Nora, if you have a child here, and not only if a child can be sponsored, but also there are children here who may have obtained citizenship by descent, wherein their parent is a Canadian citizen or their parent was a Canadian citizen when they were born. So that means that the child would also qualify for citizenship based on the parent status.
All right. So no need for a show of, bank statements and all of that at the moment. So if you were thinking of sponsoring your child to come to be with you in Canada, now would be a good time. Now would be a good time to do that. Ensure that father's name is definitely on the birth certificate. And if not right now, be prepared to do a DNA test if the need arises. All right. It's really interesting that they don't require that, from the get-go. Because, in the US, that's so a lot of people find out the kids are not really theirs, and when the filing comes around and the DNA time comes. And I always wonder why they don't put that step in the process at the beginning, Opal, just to let's just get it out the way so that, you don't start the process, you don't start spending some kind of money and then whoop, you get frustrated in the middle of it and then you don't want to do it anymore. But we are up on the break, so I don't want Opal to begin and then we have to cut. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we get the update from the United States.
Attention registered voters! Remember to collect your renewed voter ID card before the upcoming general election. If you registered to vote in 2016 or after and did not get your new ID card, it may have been automatically renewed. Simply visit your EOJ constituency office to collect your voter ID card. Contact the Electoral Office of Jamaica at 888-991-VOTE or 922-0425-9 for more information.
Teach your kids smart money habits starting now. Open a student saving account on the spot. Enjoy financial literacy games and get budgeting tips just in time for the new school year. It's all at the nationwide 90 FM Back to School Fair, where families get real value. Saturday, July 26, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Harmony Beach Park, Montego Bay. It's the nationwide 90 FM Back to School Fair.
Good morning. You are back here inside the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM. It's Immigration Mondays this morning, and we're joined by U.S. Immigration Attorney Opal Lee. And in studio with me this morning is Canadian Immigration Consultant Nadine Mahabir. Before the break, we got an update on some immigration-related matters in Canada where sponsoring children is concerned, and so parents can look into that now, because you don't really have to show bank statements and show funds right now. So you can go ahead and do that and ensure that everything else is in place so that it can be a smooth process for you. We're going to go over to Opal now with the update from the United States.
Yes, Nora. So as we know, President Trump's big, beautiful bill was signed just this past weekend. And it definitely affects on the immigration side of things, per se, on the fees, for example. There are a number of fees or a number of applications that did not have fees that now they're going to be fees. For example, even asylum, you now have to pay for an asylum application. There's now a fee for cancellation of non-legal permanent residence. We're talking about maybe $1,500, but there's a lot of fee. The important thing to take away from that is that if you have an application, you must check to make sure you're putting in the accurate fees, because all of that, there's been significant changes. The one thing that I know a lot of clients will not be happy about is this integrity visa fee. Oh boy, I don't even know where to start with this one. But what this basically says is that it's now going to be, and it's like a bond rule for all U.S. non-immigrant visa applicants. So, for example, if you're doing an F1, a B1, B2, which is a visiting visa, even H1B, you must now pay $250 visa integrity fee. And the refunds are only available if you follow all the visa rules. So, for example, you get the visa, you said you're only going to be visiting the U.S. for, a month or two. If you have overstayed the 6 months, you're going to lose this $250, for example. So that's going to be new. And the thing is that I'm not seeing anywhere where it says, okay, it will come into effect in, the integrity fee starts in 2026. But for the other fees, it doesn't say okay, for the asylum, it doesn't say, okay, within 30 days or 60 days. So those are going to be immediate. To qualify for a refund of that $250, for example, you will actually need to leave the U.S. when you're supposed to leave the U.S. No unauthorized employment. So if you work a day while you're on that visiting visa, you lost that $250. And there, of course, there's some more. And then finally, the Trump administration has ramped up denaturalization. A lot of people are saying, how comes I'm a United States citizen and they're trying to denaturalize me? If you remember when you're applying for citizenship, it basically, there was a question says, have you ever committed a crime for which you were not arrested. And a lot of people say no, because you were not arrested. Why even bother admitting that? For example, you're in Walmart, maybe you stole a pen or something, you were not arrested, but nobody knows about it, and everybody will say no. This is going to be one of the main reasons for them to denaturalize. For example, let's say you had like child abuse that was pending, or you weren't even arrested for it, but maybe the feds were watching you, the state was watching you, but they never even brought up. Same with drug charges, but you were never arrested. You don't even know that the feds were watching you, and you put no, you were never arrested or never committed a crime for which you were not arrested. Bam, you became a U.S. citizen. Then 5 years down the road, the feds had opened a case, and then they looked at, the intel, and it shows that about 6 years ago, they were watching you because you had made this drop off or you had made this phone call, and you were arrested for it. After you became a citizen, you were convicted for it. After you became a citizen, that's going to be number one reason to denaturalize you. Because guess what? Unbeknownst to maybe you knew you were committing a crime, but you just didn't know that the feds were watching you or the state was watching you. Right. Or maybe you just blatantly lied on your application. So that's going to be one. So you lied on your application, you committed a crime for which you may or may not have been arrested, you did not disclose it, or you were married to somebody else. That's the number one thing. You were married to somebody else at the time that you got married to somebody else who is fighting for you in the U.S. And that's very, very, I'm shocked to see how many of that happen. People get married in Jamaica. They never even bother to do the divorce. And they think USCI is not going to find out. They marry somebody else for U.S. citizenship. Now it's going to be denaturalized, because now they find out that, guess what? That marriage certificate is at RGD. You were in fact married to somebody else, and you can't be married to two persons at the same time. But just so people know, yes, you can be denaturalized.
All right. Lots happening as usual in these days in the United States. And so it's very important for you, if you are already there, to pay attention to the news, pay attention to what is happening. A lot of things are changing. A lot of things are coming into play. And so it really pays for you to stay informed, especially in these times. Thank you so much, Opal. And I guess as those fees and so forth come into effect, then we will hear more about them. All right, so we're at the point in the program now where we open the phone lines for you. If you have any questions for United States or Canada, then you can give us a call. The numbers to call, 876-630-9371. There's also 630-9372, 630-9373, 630-9374, 618-8255. Those are the numbers to call if you have any immigration related matter concerning the United States or Canada. And our YouTube chat is also open, so you can ask your questions there if you are unable to call. And I'm seeing a question in the chat, so I'm going to go to it before we go to the phone lines. This one is for you, Opal. It says, is it true that if you are traveling with a green card, you need approval before travel?
That's false. That's fake news. You do not need approval to travel with your green card.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Tony is on the line. Good morning, Tony.
Hi, good morning. How are you doing? Can I speak to Deus Loy?
Yes, go ahead.
My mother is here with me. She's a United States citizen. She can stay, how long she can stay out of the country?
Right. She's a United States citizen. She doesn't have a bar to how long she can remain outside the United States.
Okay. Does she
is she a Jamaican as well? No. Does she have a bar to stay in Jamaica? Is she a Jamaican citizen? I'm assuming she is.
Yes, she's a Jamaican citizen.
Okay. Then yes, no problem.
So she can stay as long as she wants.
All right. That's one of the advantages of being a U.S. citizen versus a lawful permanent resident.
Yes, she hasn't been here. It's the first time she has been back here after 15 years. So she wants to stay.
No, she's fine. I'm telling you, as a U.S. citizen, you can stay out for as long as you want.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you for calling, Tony. A follow-up question for you, Nadine Ree, the sponsoring your child. Someone is asking if they request a DNA and it turns out the child is not biologically yours and you still want to continue with the? Can you still continue with the sponsoring process?
You'd probably have to look at the other options to see. You probably could request humanitarian and compassionate considerations. Of course, that would be up to the visa officer to decide. Another option would be, are you going to adopt the child, or are you still in a relationship with the mother? Wherein if you're now sponsoring the mother, then of course you can include the dependent child on the application. So it really depends on the person's situation.
I see. All right. So there are options if it comes to it.
There are, yes.
Hopefully it doesn't, but if it comes to it. All right. Let's go back to the phone lines. Karen, good morning.
Hi, good morning. Well, my question is for you. Okay, I migrated last year, and I put in my petition for my kids. They were 10 and 19. The thing is, I'm getting married this year to a U.S. citizen. So I'm wondering what can be done. Can the person petition for my kids? So
you said your mother that's filing for you?
No, I went up. I got filed for by my son, and I went up last year, August, and I petitioned for my kids. They were 10 and 20 at the time. And I'm getting married to a U.S. citizen this year. So I'm wondering if anything can be done for my daughter and my son, or my son.
Okay. But the things, so you are a U.S. citizen, correct?
No, I am not a U.S. citizen. My husband is a U.S. citizen. My husband to be.
Okay. And so, but because you said something about your mother to begin with.
No, I didn't say. I'm the mother. I'm the mother of the kids that I petitioned for.
Who petitioned for them? Your husband to be your husband?
No. I'm going to say it again. Okay, so I went up on a petition. My son filed for me, and it came through last year. So I went up in August, and I petitioned for my kids that is back home in Jamaica.
Okay, so you're a green card holder. I'm going to make sure. Hold on a minute. So you're a green card holder now?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, got it. And you filed immediately for your children, your minor children?
Yes.
And that takes about 3 years for a visa number to become current.
Okay.
I'm just telling you that's what, okay?
Yes. So my question is, if I get married to my U.S. citizen husband, could he do anything for them?
Well, yes, you would have to start a new, your children's, your husband could go right ahead and file now for the children. And a visa number, you wouldn't have to wait for a visa number to become current because it will be immediate. But bear in mind, you're going to submit a lot of evidence to prove that marriage is bona fide. You and your husband, especially you haven't even gotten married yet, so I don't know what you and your husband have together that you could show. You're going to have to go through that whole test to make sure that marriage is real.
Okay. So what about the my son that is 20 this year?
I'm sorry?
Is there a problem? Is going to be a problem for my son who is 20?
No, if your son is 20 years old, your husband cannot, or your husband to be, because you're not married yet. When you get married, that husband cannot file for that child. You would have had to get married before the child turns 18. So your husband can only file for your children who are 18 or under 18 at the time of the marriage.
So what will be happening to that petition that I filed for him, the 20-year-old?
I mean, because remember, your husband can't do anything for it. So you just have to wait and see if a visa number becomes available, and just pray that your child doesn't age out and turns 21. But we just have to wait and see.
So you're saying that I should let the petition for him stay under my name?
You have no choice. I just told you your husband cannot file for him.
So the petition for my daughter, she's more, that's one, I can remove her from that petition, right?
I mean, it's already started filing. You could just have it still lingering. You don't have to do anything with any of them. I'm just telling you, if you want your husband to file for any of your minor children, remember, they have to be under 18. You can go right ahead and file another I-130 right now once you get married.
For my daughter, right? Not for the other one can remain just the same as it go through the process.
Correct. How many of them are under 18? How many of them are over or 18 or over?
My daughter is under 18, but my son is 20.
Okay, so you can't file for the husband cannot file for the son, but can file for the daughter.
Okay, so it can remain under the petition that I filed for him.
Correct.
Which is the son, the 20th, the 21.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
All right, we're up on the break, so let's take the break, and then when we come back, we take more of your calls and your questions from the YouTube chat.
Spectrum Insurance Brokers provides quality insurance coverage and risk management services. The time by Spectrum Insurance Brokers Limited, setting the industry standards, is
9:31.
For over 30 years, Chris & Charles has been financing your goals, dreams, creating your great moments. Celebrate the occasion with us. Borrow $1 million, pay less than $25,000 monthly, and get 30% off your processing fees. No guarantor needed. Call 876-920-4189 or WhatsApp 876-838-9028. Conditions apply. When you think loans, think Chris & Charles.
Start the school year healthy and ready. Bring the kids to the nationwide 90FM Back to School Fair for vision and dental checks, blood pressure and blood sugar tests, and even immunization support. It's peace of mind for parents and a confident start for students. Join Team Revolution on Saturday, July 26th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Harmony Beach Park, Montego Bay. Don't miss the nationwide 90FM Back to School Fair.
Good morning. You're back here inside the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90FM. I am Nora Gay Banton. We are taking your calls. It's Immigration Mondays. We're joined by U.S. Immigration Attorney Opal Lee and Canadian Immigration Consultant Nadine Mahabir. And the phone lines are open as well as the YouTube chat. So if you have any questions, you can give us a call or leave your question in the YouTube chat. Just before we go to the phone lines, a question on YouTube. I'm assuming this person is applying for a visitor's visa, and they're saying they're retired if they will still need to submit school papers such as degrees or so forth.
Nora, normally for someone who is retired, yes, you want to show your ties to your home country. You don't really have to submit the education documents. Mm-hmm. It's up to you. If you have them, then of course it doesn't hurt to include them. But for someone who is retired, their adult children can actually show their finances to support the parents' application.
Okay.
So it really does depend on their situation. If they have enough, then fine. They don't need to worry. But if they think they may need a little bit more support, your adult children can provide job letters, bank statements, and so on.
Okay, nice. Thank you so much for that. Sean is on the line. Good morning, Sean.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
I hope to express to you that I retrieved my passport, and but for one thing, I don't understand. I'd like to ask the U.S. Counsel if it's what's the the word Caribbean community. What it refers to on the passport?
I'm sorry.
Not hearing you.
That question for.
the word Caribbean community. What does it refer to, ma'am?
Are you talking about the thing that's printed on your passport, the thing that's on the front of it that says Caribbean community?
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, the Jamaica is a CARICOM nation, so I'm assuming that's what it's reflecting. Jamaica is a part of CARICOM.
Ma'am, how can I file for a K1 visa?
Okay, so that's for the U.S. So K1 means a fiance visa. So your fiance would be filing for you if it's for you. Your fiance must be a U.S. citizen, and that person would file saying, "Listen, this person is my fiance. We have met up in person within the last 2 years." So they will sign something to that effect. They will provide evidence that the relationship is bona fide and not just somebody doing it just to help out a person or a friend. So, for example, if you have anything together to show that relationship, lots of photographs, itineraries, maybe hotel receipts showing you guys spend time in hotels, just giving you a few examples, WhatsApp conversations, if you have joint bank accounts, you submit that once you get the visa. And if, when you go to the interview, if the U.S. Embassy is confident that this relationship is real, then, and you don't have any bars to enter in the United States, then if they grant that to you, once you enter the United States, you must get married to that person within 90 days, and then you can file to adjust your status to get the green card. It's a lot more in detail, but if you would like more information on that, you can always do a consultation.
All right, ma'am. That's the reason. All right. Thank you very much, Chef.
All right, Sean.
Have a blessed, my lord, Connor.
Okay. Take care. All right. Rick NYCJM, you're saying Nadine, but the question seems to be a US based question. So I'm assuming you meant Opal. So Opal, it says, I don't know who the she is referring to, but it says providing she lands on her Jamaican passport or has the unconditional landing stamps in the US passport. If she lands on the US passport in Jamaica, she has 6 months. But this is not a question though. Right.
That's wrong. Whoever wrote that in is wrong. I think that was remember the original question where the guy had said that his mother is visiting the U.S.
Right.
Visiting from the U.S.
Yes,
She's a U.S. citizen.
Right.
And I made sure to ask if she's also a Jamaican. Right, so I'm assuming she has her Jamaican passport, Jamaican citizenship. So I guess maybe that person is not totally wrong. Maybe what they're saying, make sure you have your Jamaican passport, show you can stay in Jamaica for as long as you want. But on the U.S. part, you can stay outside the U.S. as long as you want. It's the country that you're visiting, whether Jamaica or anywhere else. Do you have the requisite documentation show you can stay in Jamaica for as long as you want? That's why I asked if she's also a U.S. citizen. So I'm assuming she has her Jamaican passport too, or she has only a U.S. passport. Then she has to, get that stamp from PICA that shows she's a Jamaican as well. So she had that unconditional stamp.
Right, because he's saying that if she lands on her U.S. passport in Jamaica, she only has 6 months. And can be deported?
No, but if you also have a Jamaican passport, you don't need to. If you also have a Jamaican passport, a valid Jamaican passport, then you don't need to worry about that part.
Okay.
Because you're a Jamaican. How are they going to deport a Jamaican?
That's what I'm wondering. I'm like, wait, what's happening here? But all right. Thank you so much for the clarification, Opal. Here is another one. It says, my B1, B2 will expire at the end of August. I would like to apply for a work permit. Can I apply for it now or wait until I renew the B1, B2 next month?
Well, it's best to renew that. I would, if I were that person, I would renew my visiting visa first. Yeah, it's almost about to expire anyway, so I might as well go and renew it, because remember, when you're doing a visiting visa, you want to show that you have no interest of migrating, you have your strong ties to your home country, so you want to show that you have something going on for you back there in Jamaica. So I would just simply renew that first.
All right, here's another one. It says, can a visa holder travel to Canada from the U.S. and then re-enter the U.S.?
Can a visa holder, as in a U.S. visa holder,
I'm assuming it's a U.S. visa holder,
enter Canada? I'm assuming you have a Canadian visitor's visa. So, yes, if you're entering Canada with the appropriate visas, then I believe you should be able to re-enter the U.S. as well.
But if you don't have a Canadian visitor's visa,
when you're coming back to the U.S., they're still going to ask you the question: what is your purpose of returning? And it's actually Customs and Border Patrol right there and then if they want to let you in or not.
All right.
So it all depends too, Nadine, how long this person was in the U.S. Because, for example, if they were there close to that 6 months or, 3 months, 4 months, went over to Canada just to do a little quick visit and then come back to the U.S., what is this person doing? Living in the U.S.? So we have to be very careful about that. But if it was just a quick trip, you were visiting the U.S. and then you plan on visiting, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, then you went to Canada and then you want to finish up another week or so. But it all depends on how long your trip in the U.S. was in the first place.
All right. Thank you so much, ladies. Here's another one. This one is for you, Nadine. It says, I'm applying for a visitor's visa my children
to visit my children for
my birthday, right? The follow-up question, tell me more about what you will.
That question's not very clear. I'm sorry, I don't understand it.
So, Rosie, if you can just be a little bit more clear with the question you're asking. Are you asking about a question that is on the application form that you're not clear about? If so, just let us know which question you are not clear about, or rephrase your question so that we can get a clear response for you.
No, I'm not sure if she's asking about the dates that she needs to state on her application form. If that's the case, then of course you'd have when you plan to enter Canada and when you plan to leave. As a parent, of course, normally you can stay a longer period of time if you're planning to stay a month or two, because yes, Canada does allow parents to stay for an extended period of time depending on their situation.
Right. Thank you so much. Nadine, and if you have any follow-up on that, Rosie, then please state it in the chat so that we can get you some clarity. Tommy, good morning.
Hi, good morning. This is for Oprah. 2 quick questions, please. I'm an LPR. Filed for my wife who is in 2022 June.
All right, Tommy, just so we can make the best of this call. Do you have the phone on speaker, because we're not hearing you clearly?
No, I'm not. I'm not on speaker.
It's not very clear.
Maybe it's where it's my location, I guess. Can you hear me a little better?
It's not clear. It's not clear at all. Go ahead and let's see if we can get the question out.
All right. I was saying I am an LPR. Married to I filed for my wife in June of 2022. Just want to know where they are now, because I logged into my USCIS account a few days ago and I noticed a message came up saying as if there's no, I can't remember the exact words, but words to effect as if there's
June 2022?
Yes.
Well, they're past June 2022. They're now at September 2022. Did your wife already do her police report?
No, we haven't heard from them. Only a receipt that we've received.
No, you should have already gone to the DS-260 part, submitted the DS-260. So you might need to do a consultation so we could log in and see what's going on. But right now they're at September 2022. So they're past June.
All right. Thank you.
All right, no problem. Just before we go to the break, a simple one for you, Opal. Someone is asking, how long after your visitor's visa expires can you renew?
Well, anytime. You could renew it the next day. You could renew it a week, a month, a year, or 2 years, 3 years. You can renew it at any time. You can even renew it before it expires.
All right, thank you. We're almost to the break, so I'm going to allow you ladies to give your contact information. Tommy may need Opal's contact, so you can go ahead, Opal, and then Nadine.
Thank you, Nora. So Opal Lee, the phone number in Jamaica is 876-854-3599. That's 876-854-3599. In the United States, it's 954-358-2020. That's 954-358-2020. We're also on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook at FLOJAM Legal. That's FLOJAM Legal. Over to you, Nadine.
Thanks, Opal. For Nadine Mehabir, our contact number in Jamaica, it is 876-754-4391. That's 876-754-4391. In Canada, it is 1-416-249-5885. That's 1-416-249-5885. Our email address is info@cdnintl.com. Thanks, Miss Nora.
All right. Thank you, ladies. We're up on the break. Let's take the break. And when we come back, we'll take more of your calls and your questions in the YouTube chat.
Fill all your prescriptions, get cosmetics and other pharmaceutical items at Mannings Hill Pharmacy, located at 34A Mannings Hill Road, Kingston. Telephone 924-6280. At Mannings Hill Pharmacy, they stock all the hard-to-get medication. The time by Mannings Hill Pharmacy is
9:45.
You want to win? Then just bet. Bet on the game, no stress, no sweat. And win big in the Wanna Bet Just Bet promotion. Spend $1,500 or more on one Just Bet ticket and complete the entry form at promotions.supremegames.com for your chance to win. Third place gets Beats by Dre. Second place gets an iPhone 15 and AirPods Pro. And first place gets a 65-inch TV and a soundbar. Promotion runs May 16 to July 20, 2025. Grand draw July 25, 2025. Authorized under Section 58. Free of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Back to school doesn't have to break the bank. Swap instead of shop. Join Nationwide 90 FM at our back to school fair on Saturday, July 26 from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Harmony Beach Park in the western city of Montego Bay. Bring those books your kids no longer need and swap them for ones they do. Plus, enjoy fun activities, entertainment, and meet your favorite Nationwide personalities. It's all happening in St. James on Saturday, July 26 from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Harmony Beach Park. See you there.
Good morning. You're back here inside the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Nora Gay Banton. It's Immigration Mondays, and we are joined by U.S. Immigration Attorney Opal Lee and Canadian Immigration Consultant Nadine Mehabir. We are taking your calls, so if you have any immigration-related questions concerning either the United States of America or Canada, you can give us a call. The numbers 876-630-9371. And that goes up to 4 or 618-8255. We have some questions here. Let me go through them quickly. First one, wife and husband, green card holders, traveled to Jamaica. The husband fell ill and was unable to travel for over 6 months. What's the next step for them? What should they do?
Oh boy. So they need to re-enter right away. It's not. It's been only 6 months or a little bit. I'm assuming over 6 months. As long as it's not yet 1 year, they should leave right away.
All right. So pack your bags if you're well enough and go. Right. That's exactly the advice there. All right. One more question. If I'm a Jamaican by birth, now naturalized Canadian, I travel to Jamaica on my Canadian passport, no unconditional JA stamp. How long do I get in Jamaica? Can I be deported from Jamaica if I overstay?
Good morning. I'm sorry. I think that's a question for Pika, but you're a Jamaican, so I'm not sure why you would be deported. But again, you know, and this is what I would say to persons, you're coming to Jamaica, you want to work or stay longer in Jamaica or be treated as a Jamaican citizen. as a Jamaican Canadian, I'm going to say you would show your Jamaican passport when you land. If you have concerns about whether or not you have enough time in the country, I would recommend going to PICA with your Jamaican and your Canadian passport to show them and ensure that, yes, you do have enough time in the country.
Right, because I'm thinking if you are a citizen of both countries, then you're a citizen. You should be free to go and stay for however long, no?
Right, but you have to remember, Nora, when you land in Jamaica with another country's passport, you're going to be treated as a foreigner or a visitor. So if you want to be treated as a Jamaican where you can work, stay as long as you want, then you would show your Jamaican passport. And I'm talking about this from the Canadian side. Opal can address it for the Americans, but from the Canadian side, you would show your Jamaican passport when you land in Jamaica. Of course, when you go back to Canada, you would show your Canadian passport.
Fair. And then
you're setting us up for that wonderful question that Nora, I don't think we're going to have it today, but that's one of the popular questions.
Yes.
That we always get.
But I'm assuming then if you land on your Canadian passport as a Jamaican, and if a problem arises, then you could simply present your Jamaican passport to show that you're Jamaican, no?
Right, but if you landed on your Canadian passport, Nora, technically speaking, you're a visitor. You're not supposed to do certain things that you would do as a resident, as far as I know.
Okay.
So therefore, that is why I'm saying if this person landed on their Canadian passport, they want to stay longer in Jamaica, I would recommend that they go into PICA so they don't have any issues.
Fair. All right. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. But for the US, it does matter. Does it?
Oh, Nora, you're trying to set me up this morning.
I'm trying to get it out of the way.
I always see, the same thing I say, enter with Jamaica, just like what Nadine just says, you're entering and you want to give customs your Jamaican, even you're a U.S. citizen, give them your Jamaican passport, because, you do get certain benefits by using the Jamaican passport as well. But just know that when you're re-entering the U.S., enter with a U.S. passport and it won't be a fact. They're not going to denaturalize you or cancel your U.S. citizenship simply because you have presented your Jamaican passport. After all, you're still a Jamaican citizen.
All right. Thank you, Opal. There's a follow-up question here from the one I asked earlier, the green card holder who is not well. Your advice was to go ahead and get back to the US, but someone here is asking if they have a similar situation, but the person is still unable to travel, still not well right now, if there's anything that they can do to just ensure that they're okay. As in where immigration is concerned.
The thing is that, I would prefer that person do a consultation. The thing is that the problem lasts if it's more than 1 year. That's when they have to go at SB1 usually, and especially if the green card has expired. Because I've seen people even traveled being outside the US for 2 years and have no problem re-entering. So that person really and truly needs to do a consultation. But remember, not being well, unable to travel, you have to be very, very careful. So at the time, let's say their green card becomes expired, or they apply for the SB1 to return, and if the U.S. Consulate and Customs and Border Patrol believes that even though you are unwell, you are still able to travel and seek medical attention in the United States, your green card might be revoked in any event. So be careful with that, guys. A lot of time I've done consultation and I've seen if they can get on the plane, but they just prefer getting medical treatment in Jamaica because, they're attached to their doctors there. But remember, you're now a U.S. resident. They're very good doctors there. So unless it's a life and death situation and you're strapped and you can't travel, listen, Nora, we have seen people even take vacation and they have to be airlifted back to the U.S. because U.S. is their home. Mm-hmm. Don't tell me you're going to stay in, like Turks and Caicos, or if you went to Haiti and you got an injury there and can't travel, you're going to stay there for the next year? No, people will make their way back to their home country. Mm. So as I said before, if it's really and truly that you cannot travel, you're unable to travel, then of course save your documentation. That's what I would say. But you need to do a consultation, because I bet you if I do a consultation with that person, I'm going to find out that the person actually can travel.
All right. Thank you so much, Opal. There are some questions on YouTube and online elsewhere. Someone is asking, after your filing comes through, how long does it take to get a green card?
All right, so after your filing comes through, that means it's approved. So
yeah.
I don't know if that person is leaving from Jamaica, for example, or their country of origin, and filing was approved at the consulate level, and once they enter, they've already paid for the green card to be mailed to them. It might take a few weeks. It could take a few months for it to be mailed to you. If you're in the United States, and when I say the filing come through, you did your adjustment, usually you will know right around the same time of the interview or a few weeks after that your application will be approved, and your green card would normally be mailed within a couple of weeks after.
All right, thank you so much. Final caller for the morning. Kerry, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Thank you for having me. I just want to ask a question because in my head, I have it that the Canadian embassy or consulate, whatever you call it, is like scamming people.
Oh.
Now, I made an application for a visitor's visa to Canada. And after 1 year, they responded to me. 1 year in them. By this time, I would have traveled to the U.S. for a month, come back home, travel to the UK for 3 weeks, come back home, travel to Germany, travel to Wales. And after 1 year, the Canadian embassy responded to me about the visitor's visa to say they are not granting the visitor's visas to Canada because it's a possibility I may not return. What I don't understand, because I submitted everything. I've been living and working in Jamaica from I was 1 year old. I am now 54 years old. And I fail to understand why after 1 year, they are responding to me about the visitor's visa. What could have happened? Is it possible that the Canadian embassy is using this as an opportunity to get extras?
Be careful. All right, Kerry, be careful. No, be careful. Be careful with how you're, yeah.
Yes,
hi, good morning.
Really,
okay, question. Miss, good morning.
Yes.
You mentioned that after you submitted your application, you traveled to 3 or 4 different countries.
Yes.
Was it the first time you were traveling?
No, ma'am. I've been traveling from I was 18 years of age. But this is the first time I decided to say, let me see if I could go to Canada. And normally when I go, it's not by anybody's place I stay. I usually stay at a hotel, spend a week or 2, and I'm back home whenever I get my vacation, which I've been working in government for over 40 years. So, you get your little 15 days or your 10 days or your 30 days and you're cut out.
Okay, I think you probably would need to have a consultation done so we can try to figure out why your application was refused.
Right. Because what surprised me, why wait 1 year after the application was submitted to respond to me and give me that nonsense? I just couldn't understand.
Miss, you can't say it's nonsense.
Remember, a visa is not a guarantee. When you apply, it's not a guarantee that you will get it.
And that's true. But why wait 1 year?
Well, that's that's something that you can question the whole year for a response. But just remember that it's not a guarantee when you apply for a visa.
Yes, I know that after traveling many years, but. Is it usually that the Canadian embassy would wait a year to respond to it? And it's not only me, no. I have other colleagues too who have said the same thing. Mm-hmm. They have applied to the Canadian embassy over and over, and sometimes 6 months, 9 months, 8 months before a response is given.
There wasn't, since COVID, there was a delay with processing. Now I believe they have caught up. It's taken roughly about a month to process visitors' visas right now. But again, as I said, we'd have to take a look at your information to try and understand the reasons why maybe your application was refused.
Okay.
All right. Yes, we are out of time, so I'm going to allow you ladies to give your contact information quickly before we go. Opal and then Nadine.
Thank you. Opal Lee, the phone number in Jamaica, 876-854-3599. That's 876-854-3599. In the U.S., 954-358-2020. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook at Flowjam Legal, FLOJAMLEGAL, Flowjam Legal. Nadine?
Hi, Opal. Thank you. For Nadine Mahabir in Jamaica, it's 876-754-4391. That's 876-754-4391. In Canada, it is 1-416-249-5885. That's 1-416-249-5885. Our email address is info@cdnintl.com. Thanks, Nora. Have a great week, everyone.
Thank you, ladies. Do enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your week. That's where we're going to leave it for Immigration Mondays, making way now for Cliff Hughes Online.
That was the Consumer Hour with Nora Gay Banton.